RTD Live Talk, Tuesday, live stream edition. Excited to be back, excited to connect with the community and find out what's going on in your neck of the woods, as well as you bring the topic and let me hear your voice on the subject matter. And so, welcome. My name is Mike, the host of Detroit's number one early evening talk show. Excited to be back and looking forward to connecting. And so, as always, for those that are tuning in, feel free to let me know where you're watching from via the chat. And then when the phone lines are open, 313-462-0027. I would love to hear from you and to find out what's new. And also just your analysis or your, future predictions or whatever. It's all welcome here because the best way to learn from one another is to just basically get as many opinions as possible and formulate our own strategies and things of that nature. So looking forward to hanging out with you. Got a couple articles here. A lot of relatively speaking, positive information, but yet because it's something that it leaves me on a border of like, okay, we got a lot of rogue states deciding to steer away from the globalist agenda of continue to pump fear out there. And so I think it's going to cause those that are trying to keep everyone locked down and afraid to leave their house. It's going to force them to have to up their game in order to keep this whole narrative to get shots into the arms of people. So we're going to walk through that a little bit. And of course, the economy, it's not a recovery, it's a reshuffling of the deck. And so they got, it's so much stuff that just plays into how rigged and how just disastrous this current monetary paradigm is. And of course, I had a chance to watch Janet Yellen as well as the IMF, chairperson, and then the World Bank person talk about the economic recovery. It says something about whatever the key buzzwords are. It's resilience, inclusiveness, and something climate change and the COVID. I was like, dog, it's just it's interesting. But anyway, enough rant. Let me get right into it. And so I'll acknowledge a couple people. I saw some thoughts out there in the chat. I'll try to touch on them. But feel free as always when the phone lines open up, call in and share your 2 cents. Just because I want to make sure I can get enough people's perspective so we can all stay in tune. Okay, so we got Patriot Star out here. Appreciate you. We got a lot of thoughts out there. We got talks about war with China. Okay, so I can come back on that one. Remind me of that one. We got ETF, stock market. Okay. What else? We got Mastodon in the building. We got Chains. There's interesting viewpoints on the next 6 months. Stocks go higher, bond market rallies, 10-year rates creep back down to 1.2. Inflation risk. The question then is, what does the Fed do? Oh, man, that's a lot in that one statement there. But what can the Fed do? What has the Fed done based upon prior events? All they can do is, as they say, use their toolkits to meet maximum employment and whatever else the mandates might be. And then they're going to have to eventually, they're going to buy stocks. They're going to expand their balance sheet into new asset classes. They're going to eventually, unfortunately, they're going to be buying this stuff right here, this sign right here. They'll be buying that as well. And so ultimately, they're going to create more reserves and of course, roll out the whole central bank digital currency aspect, because at this current moment, under this current paradigm, the velocity of money, i.e. the Federal Reserve controlled issues, stuff that's in the banking sector, it's parked. People aren't spending the way that they would like to. So they're going to have to incentivize people to do such by issuing a whole nother realm of currency, i.e. legal tender, whenever Congress decides to authorize them to do such. And so they're going to have, they're going to try to spur consumer confidence even further to try to absorb some of those losses and get out buying and spending, creating that whole illusion of a recovery. So, but ultimately, they're going to just do more printing, more creating. So, but anyway, we can touch on that. We got James Turner. We got low blood pressure. Monkey King, Christopher Patterson. What else we got here? S400. Okay. So I see a lot of interesting thoughts, man. Commodities will correct with the entire market, but not fall as much. Then take off after massive printing and inflation increases like the 70s or never before. Should be the best buying opportunity. Yeah. So here's the thing, Chains, with that one. Like right now, we're looking at the pump of everything except the two anchors of the entire monetary system, which are gold and silver, gold in particular, silver from an industrial standpoint. But yet, I do believe that there will be a slight glitch in the system, i.e. some type of, 10, 20, 30% correction. I got an article here talking about a lot of people concerned with that Argios that not being the only hedge funds that is extremely over leveraged. Therefore, there's going to be some more that's interconnected with that same line of illegal legal gambling through the derivatives or whatnot. So there's going to be an implosion, and of course the Federal Reserve know that, and so I'm sure they're already probably providing enough liquidity and support already, and things we don't know about. But if there is an unforeseen glitch where there's a sell-off due to the algorithm trader, ETF, all that stuff is computerized, if it happens to trigger a sale, there's a dump. I don't think metals are going to fall that far, just because right now we're witnessing a scramble to try to get silver. And we got the Perth Mint out here sourcing their metals from China. And once again, I don't think China is letting anything real leave the country. So we're probably going to be getting all types of the fake bullion market is probably booming right now. A lot of people probably tuning in might be sitting on some fake coins here and there, just because there's so much out there now and the demand is increasing. And so it makes the market very susceptible to a lot of fakes being put out there. So with that being the case, as far as the price dropping, I wouldn't bank on it, because once again, if the spot price drops, the premium is going to go up. So no matter what, you will not be getting anything you want, in particular under $30, no matter what happens in the market, in my opinion. But that's just me. But I'm curious to hear your thoughts more. We got Tom in the building. We got JB. We got Full of Hope in here. We got Jay. Okay, so enough of me ranting. Let's get to some things. And also, for those tuning in, one thing I noticed on the back end, it has been increasing, of course, since January. The algorithms, YouTube, I've seen more enough people get taken off and whatnot. So they're definitely cracking down on alternative viewpoints. So I need your help. What I need you guys to do, if you have been enjoying the content, if you want to see the platform succeed, take a minute beneath this video here, click the share tab, look for your social media network where you're not afraid to let your family and friends know that you are in the alternative media space. Bring them into the fold, bring them into the community, let them hear things that contradict the mainstream narrative. Because right now, alternative media, i.e., misinformation, is extremely important, because people are being led down to the slaughter, man. So take a minute, hit that share button, share it on your favorite social media tab. Let's try to add a couple more people to the community so more people can find out what's going on, because once again, you won't hear from mainstream news sources. And then also, as I always say, anybody who listens to someone who speaks off a teleprompter, they did not write the script. So anyway, it says, don't use those Chinese bars to make the Scary George. Of course not. So that's another thing I'm working on. I got some things coming where it's going to be for a short window of time, because I believe that the price of silver is going to get away from me again, to where I won't be able to offer the Scary George rounds as well as the Get Your Weight Up rounds. But what I'm actually working on, all the silver rounds comes from the actual grain. I've witnessed it, so via video, whatever. So it's legit, and so it can be trusted, in a sense. But pretty soon you may not want to be trusting many people out there. Anyway, okay, so enough of me ranting. Let's get into some information here. And before I do that, let me do a little house cleaning. You know how I do it for those that might be new. So rethinkingthedollar.com is the blog. It's home base, articles throughout the day, so you'll always be up to snuff of what's going on. Talk gold, silver, crypto, you name it, is there. And so it's a way to stay up to date. I pull articles from there as well. And then also, for those that want to hang out during the week on off the air, we do probably once a week or every other week. Become a Patreon member, and you get a chance to hang out on screen with me face to face. We talk trash and have fun, as well as encourage one another. So become a member of the Patreon team. Link is beneath this video. Also, join the Discord page and the Telegram page, just in case Discord takes us down, given the fact Bill Gates just bought it. So, of course, they're going to be censoring even more. But here's the social media tabs. Everywhere you can find videos. I try to upload everything to all these mediums here, just to make sure you can always find us if you're interested. So feel free to do that. Okay, let's dive right in. Now, one of the most concerning things for me right now is that we're having a divide in this country. We have states that's pulling away from the mainstream narrative of trying to instill confidence in the recovery aspect. At the same time, we know that the globalist agenda, those that are in bed with the oligarchy families, the World Economic Forums, Davos, all those entities, and of course the Democratic states especially, they want people to continue to remain on edge and fear. So here in Michigan, we're supposed to be leading the nation in cases again, whatever. There is something present. But of course, we as people, our immune systems are more than capable of dealing with it on our own, far from your underlying health conditions that you might not know about. Anyway, but here's something that it's exciting on one end, but it's also of concern. Exciting because fear divides. Fear is how they, meaning those that are trying to make sure we participate in this restructuring of our monetary system, i.e., and political system. They want to keep us afraid. They want to keep us divided. And so when you see people out here that's no longer afraid, that is a good thing. But then again, it to me means that they who are orchestrating all of this, they're going to have to take it to another level to really instill that fear that's being lost right now. So this article here, I think, is interesting because it says Americans worry about catching the situation drops to a record low. And it's showing in the fact that more people are deciding to come out and do their thing. And of course, we've been bombarded with advertisement from the propaganda on the urgency and the need to go get, your what's the name. But a lot of people aren't falling for that. And so here in Michigan, especially, in city Detroit, they're putting up, centers in every 5 miles or so. It's becoming very alarming. And of course, at some point, most people will just say, I'm not going. And then what? Then how do they elevate it even more? And so that's another issue. But just to give you an idea what's going on here real quick, and then I'll stop ranting and move to some more articles. Story highlights is this 35% of Americans are worried about the catching this current situation. It's down from 49%. And so I'll find out how many total. But that's a 14% drop within a couple of months heading into spring. And so that's something that is exciting on one end, but concerning for those that want to make sure we stay locked down and afraid. 77% say the current situation in the U.S. is improving, up from 60%. And so I don't know if it's because of, the centers popping up and, the mainstream media, telling people to go get that thing or what, but people are starting to feel better. And especially if you've already had it and you recover, you're like, oh, I'm good. I got the antibodies. I'm not going to get that thing. Okay. Then it says 64% report at least a fair amount of disruption to their lives, down from 70%. So a lot of people probably restarting work or picking up some side work or whatever, and of course they've been more than stimulated. And of course that puts a little sense of confidence. People got a little extra cash to spend. So things are starting to look mighty rosy at a time where, as the CDC chairwoman said, we need to, it was one of the doctors on CNN said that we need to dangle a carrot in front of the people to incentivize them to get the jab. So we can't have all this opening up and all these smiles and people feeling good about themselves. So something to be concerned with. And then what tips it off is here today, Globe Life Field is at full capacity today for the Texas Rangers game. And so when I saw this, I was beyond excited. I'm thinking like, I don't even like baseball, but I'm like, I would have went there just to be in that building because those people are there. They're there to watch game, be entertained. They ain't concerned with what's happening outside that stadium. And so when you see stuff like this, it definitely puts pressure on other states to have to respond as well because they can't have their economy starting to pick up and be revived when you got, certain governors want to say, stay at home, be afraid, don't leave your house, all that good stuff. Anyway, next one here. I thought this was very interesting. White House rules out requiring the federal, paperwork. You guys can read it for yourself. And so I thought this is very misleading because it's twofold. One, it'll be premature for them to come out at this early stage when not everyone is actually eligible. And of course, as of April 19th, this current regime said that everybody should be eligible. We'll see who actually chooses to opt in and go do that. But here's the thing here. If they came out and said, by next year and by this month, whatever, it's going to be mandatory, people would start putting up a resistance now. It'll hinder their chance of continuing to get shots in the arms, as they say. And so I think this is just to open up the door to the conversation, to put it out there. And of course, by them mentioning it at the federal level here, it opens up the door for conversation to where it's going to be more paid doctors, paid scientists saying that we need to consider this. And so it's going to come about. But then also the backup for them is that they're going to have it to where all the companies, every company, publicly traded or not, whatever, that took funds from Uncle Sam, that was a part of their agreement that you cooperate. So if the government don't require it, businesses will. So no matter what, they're going to make sure that people are participating in this transition. So just something right there. And then here's something else. I put this on Twitter. So if you guys don't follow me on Twitter, I would encourage you to do so. Social media tab is beneath if you're interested. But this came out. I'm not sure where I saw this on Twitter last night. Actually, I shared it. But just this headline here, I'm going to just let you guys read this for yourself. So this is from The Hill. And here we have Morgan Freeman. I was a fan of Morgan Freeman. I never trust an actor. You get paid to play a role. You're damn good at that role. But just this right here, I didn't even watch the video. But the fact is from the Hill, if you trust me, you'll get that thing. And I'm thinking like, who trusts actors? But once again, as I mentioned several months ago, there's a lot of funds set aside for the marketing campaign for this current agenda. And so they're looking for celebrities, influencers, you name it, as front men and women to be the advocates for this current situation. And the question we should all ask ourselves is, why do they need to spill billions of dollars to pay actors to then tell us to use that level of communication and trust to get people to participate in something that is causing damage in of itself? We can get in that another time. But anyway, okay. Here's a little article I wanted to mention about. This is from Wall Street Silver. It says Perth Mint announces new supplies from China to satisfy shortage of silver and gold. And so just this picture alone lets you know that you may not be able to trust that, but we have looks like some coal being painted gold. So something worthwhile. And then here's another thing that might be exciting for a lot of people, but it has me concerned. Sacramento Kings to offer Bitcoin salary option to all players. So this is the very first NBA team looking to offer Bitcoin as a payment method. It can be promising for those that are excited about this digital transition, but it's alarming in the fact that it's going to put more pressure on the Treasury to have to respond, as well as Congress, because once you start getting compensated in something that is labeled a competitor, then it's going to start falling into the legal tender aspect, to where I think it's going to put more pressure on Congress to have to address the public's viewpoint of Bitcoin and other currencies of this magnitude as something that is going to be a threat towards saving a vehicle, as well as medium of exchange, as well as all the store value talk that's out there, whatever. And it's going to have to it's going to be brought back to the legal tender question. How do we jump in and use this technology? So they're going to have to adjust the legal tender laws, incorporating the words digital assets, U.S. backed, U.S. led, and U.S. driven treasuries, provided or Fed provided digital assets into the UCC code, which is the underlying of the monetary policies or whatnot. So anyway, okay, keep moving. I'll let you guys read this here. This is just something worthwhile. Once again, we got one of the leading pharmaceutical companies out here that's also partnered with another biotech company, and they're promoting stuff. But you got situations where, just criminality. You got companies that are being caught in all types of stuff. It should make you question if you can believe them in anything else. So something you might want to consider. Then here's something else. California plans to lift most restrictions June 15th. Keep the mask mandate. So for my California people out there, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this, because I think it's a setup heading into this summer, spring. Because as I mentioned, there's too much confidence out here, too many people smiling and not enough fear. So I think we're going to be experiencing, they're going to try to pump out that, because right now in Europe, Spain, UK, France, other countries, they shut down, talking about that third wave. We haven't heard anything about a wave over here other than a variant. So something to keep an eye on. And then here's something. Dollar falls with most treasury yields amid skepticism on the Fed. So, of course, we all know, and that's where I don't really talk directly about the Dixie, because it's just a weighted basket of currencies that have been weaponized and they're all crumbling. But from a trading standpoint, global liquidity standpoint, I understand the importance of talking about this word here. But there's no future in a Federal Reserve note, regardless. And a dollar, the way I use it, it's a certain measurement of silver. So the dollar is going to be fine. The Federal Reserve note, that right there is going to be the problem. Like this Federal Reserve note, that's what this is, this piece of paper here, that's going to be a problem, or it already is a problem. Okay, and then last thing here, and I'll stop ranting. 80,000 retail stores expected to close in the next 5 years, leaving space to reinvent those that remain. And so I don't think we're going to make it to 2025, to be honest with you, or 2026 with these retail stores, because if you drive around your neighborhood, you look at all the areas that 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago, a lot of storefronts were booming. We know small businesses were shut down completely and all that stuff like that. They won't be reopening, restaurants closed and yada, yada. But with Amazon, Walmart, and online retail e-commerce stores, they already changed the game. There's no need for brick and mortar stores other than delivery and pickup spots for goods and services. So there is no more market for retail stores. Malls are outdated. You just shop online. So, of course, with all this comes a restructuring of the current workforce, because younger kids were the ones employed in most of these places, but that's no longer the case. So anyway, I got that all off my chest. All right, so let's keep it moving. Okay, phone lines are open. Let's talk. I'm going to check in with the chat. As always, highlight at Rethinking the Dollar. It'll stand out. And then I will definitely try to touch on it. And then also, for those that are tuning in, as I mentioned, if you came in late, algorithms are really running rampant nowadays, making sure that no one gets notified. So I try to send out an email. So beneath this video here is the email list that I try to send out one at least an hour beforehand that we're going to be live. And then also, if you're enjoying the live stream, if you are interested in being a source or being a gateway to others in your community, your family and friends, consider clicking the share button right now beneath this video here and share it anywhere in your social media platform sphere, so that other people can grab a hold of this information and realize that there's more than one side of the story. It's good to get the other side as well, so you can formulate your own. So be willing to share this live stream here, either live or pre-recorded, either one, so more people can find out. Because once again, this video is not reaching anybody, so it's one of those things where it's gonna be hard to help people if we can't reach them. So consider doing that if you like to. Anyway, okay, so enough of me ranting, man. I can go on and on. You know how I do it. But as you guys see here, 313-462-0027. Give me a call. Let me know what's on your mind. What are you keeping your eye on? Of course, there's buku stories out there, and we can try to touch them as many as we can. Okay, let me go up to the chat a little bit. Let me see here. It says, Full of Hope says, Mike, using loved actors was detailed in Event 201. Very true. Very true. And that's another thing. People have no idea as to what that is. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from? All right, hold on one second. I got some stuff going on my side. All right. All right. What's your name? Where you calling from again?
I'm calling from North Carolina, and you call me the Shrek Unit.
The Shrek Unit?
That's right.
All right. What's going on, my man? Give me some good news from your neck of the woods.
Oh, man, I would love to give some good news. It took me about 9 months to microdose red pills to my wife to finally get her away from the mental trap that these leftist fearmongers are trying to make.
Okay, congratulations on that. So give me some of your steps. Give me your 3-step method as to how you were able to do that.
Step number 1, say, baby, listen to this. And then you just read the headline and wait to see what her reaction is. If she gives you the screw face, keep going.
Okay.
If she's really interested.
Okay.
But if she rolls her eyes, walk away. Step number 2. Don't send links. Mm-hmm. Don't send tweets. Don't send anything.
Okay.
Step number 3, just let her chew on what you said to her.
Okay.
It'll come around.
Simple, sweet, and practical. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, simple and practical. However, she's got a daughter, and I don't want to time her. I saw it yesterday for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
She got the vaccine. She got it for her dad. Mm-hmm. Now, she's getting college educated. And I asked her, do you know what's in these vaccines?
Mm-hmm.
She says, yes. The CDC says the ingredients in the vaccine are safe. I'm like, all right, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But do you know the long-term effects of the compound inside those drugs?
Mm-hmm.
And it's nothing.
Yeah.
It's radio silence, man.
Yeah.
She don't care.
That's unfortunate.
And it is. It really is. And I even told her about the effects of polyethylene glycol, which is causing, these allergic reactions in a lot of these people. No concerns, man. No cares. The CDC says it's safe. Therefore, God has spoken. So be it.
Yeah. Whew. Well, hey, and that's very concerning that people are being led to the slaughter, and it's that blind faith and trusting politicians, actors, the science. The same people who deny that there's a God, they say that we're able to trust people that say we evolved from monkeys and stuff like that. So I can go down that rabbit hole, man. But hey, I appreciate you for calling and sharing your thoughts, man, and that 3-step process to bring your wife on board, man. Thank you for calling in.
Thank you.
Yep. Good stuff, man. Appreciate that. 3-step method. All right, let's keep it moving. Give me a call, man. Whatever else is on your mind, feel free. If we got any viewers out there in the European area, Feel free to call in, man, because once again, one of the things we're not being taught, when we're not being told, or is even coming across the airwaves here, is the fact that a good portion of Europe is still locked down, and the amount of tyranny happening with the police, and they just man, it's real bad. So if people saw how the rest of the world was treated, it would definitely cause them to rethink or to begin thinking about why things are so smooth here. Could it be that we are the most heavily armed population on the planet? I don't know. But yet, of course, the goal is to remove that from us at some point. So anyway, Mr. Call, give me a call back. I apologize. I'm going to try to stop ranting when the phone rings. So give me a call. Let's talk. I'm curious to see what's going on. All right. Let me see here and check in with the chat real quick. See something about Florida. We got Rolf put a little thought out there. I'm not going to read it, but you can see it on the screen here. I see what it's talking about. And then spread it to the U.S. All right. Let's get this call. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Mike. It's Casey calling from Fort Worth, Texas.
Casey from Fort Worth, Texas. How you doing, man? Well, give me some good news.
Well, I don't know if it's good news, but I was paying attention to what's going on in Ukraine and Russia. And, I kind of want to get your opinion. I know back in 2016, I thought Obama and Biden were trying to start war with Russia to get on the depopulation, and more importantly, to cover up an economic collapse.
Yeah.
And I know they're building up troops, something like 4,000 troops, tanks, and those are one Russian expert, and he says he doesn't expect America to intervene at the same time. Nobody knows for sure. What do you think you see going on with this? And I think it could very well be a cover for the credible person.
Great point. So what's funny, that's one subject amongst many that is out there to where I haven't dived deep into it, but knowing that there's always the need for an altercation so that the U.S. can come in and play the good guy, relieving us from the evil Russians and evil Chinese people. So the fact I'm hearing from what I've gathered that, Ukraine, the U.S. is encouraging Ukraine to respond towards that, whole little situation there. I'm not sure exactly if it's involved with Crimea or whatever else out there, but if Ukraine responds, the whole point is to have the sheeple of Ukraine do that so that the U.S. can come in, and then we'll have that reason to further expand the monetary base because we have to go save the world again. So, war is always on the table because we're currently in war now. It's the war of cases. And so I think that they can always use another war of whatever they want to name that. But it's definitely something in the cards, man. So never sleep on that's possible. So, but yet, I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. So,
yeah, I think war could play a lot of roles. It depopulates, it covers up the economic collapse. They'll look to the Russians, and it's also I'm sure they're going to somehow blame it on Trump and all this support.
No doubt.
Anyways,
hey, man, appreciate you, man. And smile, man. Hold your head up high, man. You sound a little down overall, but give me. Let's end this call.
No,
okay. Okay, be good then, man. Yeah. Yeah, man. I definitely didn't want the call to end on like that downer note of because we all know what's possible, but yet there's good news out there, man. So I want to definitely make sure we cover that, man. Alan Van, how you doing, buddy? S400 got some thoughts out there. Says, what do you think about the escalating tension between the China and U.S.? Do you think that war is imminent? Who, in your opinion, would win the war, this U.S. side or China's? S400, war is always on the table, as I mentioned. I think to further the transition into the next world order type of ordeal, I can imagine there being some type of confrontation. No country gives up their reserve currency status without an actual war. Now, whether it's the war on cases and everything that's coming from that or actual hot war, I don't think the U.S. want to see China in a hot war because they have technology. And of course, they have an ally in Russia that definitely has the technology to make sure it's going to be a quick fight. And I don't think we got much to combat that, given the fact that our weapons system was gutted under the prior administrations, and even Trump tried to revitalize it, pouring billions into it. But I think the tech is our tech is lacking, probably, in my personal opinion. So that's just my 2 cents. But anyway, give me a call. Let's talk. Curious to hear what else is going on out there. Check in via chat real quick. I see some Rockefeller family. It says, did lumber double? America's? I am not sure. I have not followed it other than just hearing about it from other commentators. haven't dived into the price, but it amazes me how, and I gotta actually probably do some research on this, but it amazes me how everything is up nominally. Like, of course, the Dow's down 100 points today after an all-time high, but yet it's going to go back up again, whatever. Copper, zinc, you name it is up, except gold and silver. Like, what is it about those two metals that they cannot afford to allow to reach a true price discovery? Make you think. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, this is the Shrek unit again, man. I want to ask you real quick your thoughts on this Russia-Ukraine thing. I am seeing a lot of crazy stuff coming over there.
Yeah, I'll get
your thoughts off the air.
I appreciate you, man. So let me go ahead and just dive into it. I'll touch on that in 1 second. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Mike, I gotta hurry up. It's low blood pressure covers 50. You got me on the timer like my wife.
What's going on, man?
Man, Mike, they're gonna pull the rug out. They're gonna pull the rug out under from the dollar, but man, I'm kind of impatient. What's gonna happen?
I'm gonna say, man, enjoy this current environment while it remains, because once they pull a rug, or whoever pulls the rug, and we get into that next world, next paradigm type of thing, it's gonna be so chaotic, man. Like, it won't be enjoyable. So I don't even want to think about it, because I know it's coming. So that's just me.
Well, and what's going to replace it? You think that crypto's going to make a move?
I think that the banking sector and Jamie Dimons I think those individuals would definitely like to see Bitcoin succeed, because it'll make it easier for the public to accept whatever that next CBDC thing will come up, that they want to pump out there. So I think they're going to try to let Bitcoin, because it can't be stopped according to everybody. They're going to let Bitcoin ride and everything else, and bring in CBDCs along with it. And then regulation, taxation, or something down the line, they're going to try to make sure that everybody no longer is excited about the decentralized stuff as they are now, because of whatever they're going to throw out there. So, but it's going to exist in the meantime, because they got to make sure everybody buys into the digital concept, because once again, cash is trash, but yet it's your last line of defense as far as you having some physical property that you can have get a hold of, and it has a little bit of privacy to it. So that's just my personal opinion.
It's crazy, Mike. They're letting this Bitcoin run up so high, and yet silver and gold. No.
Yeah.
It makes you kind of wonder, why are they letting this thing go up?
It definitely, for those that have been in the community and been in a stacking space forever, this should be a confirmation as to how much of a threat, and how much of it's kryptonite towards the global banking system, because they want to make sure that nobody's excited about it. And even to the point where there might be an actual full-fledged scarcity on bullion at every level, from your retailers, the banks, the mints, you name it. But then again, the paper price still going to say $25. You know what I'm saying? So that's how crazy it is. But yet Bitcoin can go to the moon, and they say, sure, CNN will cover it, Fox cover it, Bloomberg cover it. And they say, yeah, make sure you get some of your portfolio now. Okay, yeah, sure. But hey, man, appreciate you.
All right, Mike.
Be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Good stuff. Yeah. So that's another thing. Like, as I've mentioned, for those that might know, I'm a skeptic. I've never really dived 100%. I'm not one of the individuals to say it's the future, because I think it's intentionally placed here for this transition. It needs something to entice people to be willing to give up their privacy in the form of having paper, even though they're going to destroy it. But it's no way to have a monetary reset without having something in between to get people excited and to keep their eyes off of what used to be the store value in the form of gold and silver. So it's just, it's too convenient, and it's intentional, in my opinion. Play with it, profit off of it, get in, get out, do what you do. But I think, 5-10 years from now, we're going to look back, and I think a lot of us going to have regrets that we bought into the bait and switch of this digital stuff. So even though it's technology, it's inevitable, yada, yada. Yeah, I'm just leave it at that. Anyway, spot silver, 25, physical will be 200. Rolf, good point. Very good point. All right. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Professor from Atlanta. How you been?
I'm doing good, boss man. How you doing?
So walk me through it, right?
Okay.
Get the jab, get your second jab. Now some places got the passport.
Mm-hmm.
Now Pfizer's telling me that it's 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I haven't gotten the jab, just to say that up front.
Mm-hmm.
It's that is 6 months against the variant, are they welcoming us to a mandatory every 6 months to a year passport move about mandated vaccine that's still not FDA approved?
So okay, good point there. So I think I posted that article in the Discord, but the fact that it's unknown. They're saying 6 months based upon a recent study, a recent survey, whatever. So that's just a guesstimation as well. So after that 6 or 9 months, then what? And my belief system is they're going to turn it into your every year seasonal flu type of shot, to where it's going to be an annual thing. And of course, it's the paper cards now, but because of fraud and everybody's faking it, they're gonna roll out the QR code stuff in the app as a part of safety for you to make sure that it's gonna benefit us. So that's next year or two. So yeah, and it's quite obvious, I think, but yet people think it's gonna be you get your 1 or 2 and you're done, and then you go back to normal life, and they don't know that that's not a part of their plan. Because this ain't going nowhere. Like the flu ain't going nowhere. Flu been here for quite some time. It changes every year. So this SARS strand, whatever, is it's on the same chain. So yeah, what do you think, man?
No, I was just curious to know what your thoughts were. I got to get back on Discord, but question to the audience, depending on their time zone.
Yeah.
As jobs start to make it mandatory, what are their thoughts? How far are they willing to go?
So great question, man. So audience, respond to that. How far are you willing to go? And of course, as I mentioned earlier, because the federal government just mentioned that they're not going to make it mandatory, but in order to participate in society, you will definitely have to participate. Now it's a matter of, I think a lot of creativity will come around that, where people are going to find ways to get around it. But a year, 2 or 3, like always, once you get used to having to accept wearing masks and all the other stuff, eventually people give in. That's where I'm concerned myself. So, but yeah.
Donut. I mean, we'll start there.
Say again? You say get your donut?
I just need more than a donut. I'll start there.
Yeah, fair enough. Hey, man, appreciate you, man. Big up. He say he need more than a donut. Yeah, and the fact is, like, what type of incentive how can he incentivize you with a donut? And people taking pictures with a card and donut, like. Yeah, a lot of that makes me wonder, are those actors? Because I'm thinking like only, if this is a crisis like we've never seen before since the Spanish flu, like, a donut, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Anyway, but eventually, we've mentioned before that on top of that, there are going to be more incentives of the central bank digital currency stuff, where it's going to be linked to your QR code stuff as well, and social credit score, all the other stuff. Just look at what's already in China, from the top to the bottom, and then just think about 5 years he's going to be here, more than likely. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Big Mike. It's Chris from LA in the UK.
Chris from LA in the UK. How you doing, man?
I'm good. So let me give you the new update. So they're talking about opening up here fully in June 21st, just like California.
Yeah. But
they're saying that after June 21st, people are going to need the COVID vaccine passport in order to buy clothes in some areas.
Okay, so that's a good indication of what will definitely make its way beyond that region into the U.S. and beneath it. So yeah, So clearly the pulse over there, I'd imagine a lot of people in your circle, are they like, sure, anything it takes to get back to normal, or is it like, hell no, I'm not doing that, or what?
Well, there's a lot of pushback, so a lot of things they're not putting on the news. But there's a lot of people that are protesting and going against the police, and they're really trying to stop, this whole vaccine. I mean, this passport thing. Nobody likes it, but the people I work with, most people are sort of sick of it. They're just like, well, whatever it takes to go back to normal. So I'm sort of the oddball out of the group. But I can't even get my wife to go to the U.S. because they blocked anybody from the UK to travel to the U.S. And the U.S. people can't come in this country either.
Yeah, I saw that. And then on top of that, I saw something about the capital controls, to where they're trying to make sure nobody sends money out or whatnot, and it's going to be a extreme heavy fine if you're caught or whatever, trying to escape. So basically, think about that. Being in that area there on the island type of thing, you're limited. You're stuck. I mean, that's unfortunate, man. Like, so, yeah, man.
Yeah, and this is a testing ground for everything they're trying to do. So I'm sort of watching everything because I'm like, if it's like this here, then it's definitely going to come that way.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I'm sort of on both ends because I have family in LA and, in Texas, places like I actually have family in Detroit also.
Okay.
So I figure whatever is out here is going to come out there really soon. So what they do is they lock everything down for a while and then they open things back up for a little bit. It's like dangling a carrot in front of you. They give you a little bit, and they pull it back up.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, man, wish you the best with that, man. Keep us up to date. And definitely, I would imagine, yeah, that's just a tough situation to be in, man. But definitely keep us up to date, man.
It's not good.
Yeah, I can imagine. So that's the same thing here. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for calling in.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's a really tough, tight spot to be in because you're on an island. And if you can't leave the island type of thing, where can you go? You know what I'm saying? So here in the U.S., at least we got 50, roughly, it's probably gonna be interstate travel will eventually be the last thing that's taken away. So, but yeah, it's the people who think that we're cuckoo or crazy conspiracy theorists, but yeah, just look at what's happening abroad. If they were willing to take the time to go see how bad it is in other areas, they realize what's going on here. But here's something that's very, telling. Government issues update on needing a, piece of paper to shop in Primark, Home Bargains, Aldi, and Tesco. So this is out of the UK. And so, Aldi's is one of my stores here. I like that. You know what I'm saying? So once again, you won't be able to walk in and just like, if you think about this, wherever you're at now, and I mentioned this to my wife the other day, because somebody brought this up on Twitter as well. Walk into your local Walmart now. They have those bars that open, and more than likely they're open now, but there's those bars that keep you from going. And by next year, those bars will not probably open up to allow you in the store unless unless something goes off with you and that your phone QR code, NFC, or something like that to say you have access to get food now. You know what I'm saying? Type of thing. So that's how crazy things are, man. But it is real life. But yet, God is in control. I'm going to hold my head up high. I'm going to do my best to continue to yell from the mountaintops for people to let your voice be heard, speak up, resist where you can, put your faith in the Lord and let him do what he got to do. Because this is ultimately, it's not really so much of an attack on mankind as it is on the enemy, Satan's attempt to become God himself for humanity in a sense. So it's ultimately with all this modification of our molecular structure, with all this, the unknowns of that, shot in the arm, it alters humanity. It alters who we are as individuals down to the core level of our essence. When you get to playing with DNA, that's the strands and the fight, that's some sick stuff that only the evilest of evilists could want to do. And that's the orchestrators of this whole event. And they're doing it based upon the people, the fake God that they serve. So, but it is what it is, man. And so let's stay prayed up, enjoy life as best we can. Now, remember that we're not called to live in this life forever. This is literally a test run in the grand scheme of things. So definitely make sure you're right with the Lord. And it says that those who believe will be saved. So hopefully you are a believer in Jesus Christ himself, because only his blood can wash away your sins and save you and open up the door for eternity for you. So anyway, thought I would end on a little preaching note there. It just made me feel good in my spirit. But anyway, everybody, it's been great hanging out. Hope you guys enjoyed it. As I mentioned, for those that are jumping in late, algorithms for YouTube are going bananas. Nobody's seeing the videos primarily. So if you are interested, the email list down below, I'll send you a notification before we go live. And then also to help me out on this end to reach more people, to get them to think for themselves, consider hitting the tab button beneath this video, clicking share, and then putting this out wherever you feel comfortable, sharing it with your family and friends, and get them over here so they can see all this stuff around me that's worth them seeing, as well as getting a chance to hear from you guys, the community. So appreciate you guys for hanging out, and I will see you later. Peace.